Good day, everyone, and welcome to Car Stereo Talk. I am your host, Dean, with my co-host here,
Fernando.
And we're going to talk to you about car stereo stuff today. We've got quite a show for you, and that we hope you ask really good questions.
Yes.
But we do have a new product that we want to talk over a little bit later in the show that we're really excited about. When we get to the audio control portion of it, it's not really audio control, but it's adjacent. The new word from Deadpool is adjacent. You know, it's because it's not an Avenger. It's Avengers adjacent. You know, and Happy.
That's his name?
No. Adjacent means running parallel to it. So when Happy was talking about, you know, when he was interviewing with Happy, and he's like, "You're an Avenger. What is your ability?
Yes.
Parallel parking?"
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, "No, it's Avengers adjacent." You know, so
yeah,
everyone needs support staff, right? So basically what it is. But no, we have a great new product that I want to talk to you guys about. We are going to be doing the news on Friday, but Saturday and Monday, obviously with the holiday coming, juices, bro.
More days.
So, but let's get started with the show. Let's get it rolling. We do this little thing called the 12-Volt Clean Wire Club. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it. And on the 12-Volt Clean Wire Club, we find one lucky guy, and that's Fernando, not we. And this week is no exception. We have another beautiful install. Let me pull this up here.
Wow.
I know I did that on purpose because it looks so cool when it does like that switching. It does. It looks fantastic. We have a nice audio control system, a D61200, and an
Do you
LC.
remember those old days?
Yes.
You used to do a lot of audio control.
We used to do a lot of those. Yeah, we did a lot.
Like that specific combo.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, when I saw it, I go, oh. And then I was like, no, that wasn't us. Thank God.
Right.
This is clearly an F-150 or an F-250. It has the rubber floor, so it's not
it's
carpeted.
A Ford. Yeah,
it's definitely a Ford for sure.
Yeah.
Who did this?
That's Gerardo, the guy that he came here. Remember?
Yeah.
Vacation.
That we hooked him up with our audio.
Yep.
Oh, very nice.
So Gerardo did that, and
looks great.
So in his post, he put lighting.
Yes.
In the back.
Yeah.
But the lighting looks cool because it looks like the power wire is actually, you can see it like.
Yeah, so he did
it's
do a
traveling. Yes. It's cool. It's cool.
Nice.
I like it. It's nice. So he did a wonderful job. And don't forget, 12-Volt Clean Wire Club is sponsored by the fine folks Kenwood, KenwoodUSA.com. So check them out.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was nice of them to do this. I'm happy that they came in as a sponsor. We have the new, what is it, the 4170?
4170, yeah.
Yeah, coming. Yeah. I can't wait to do that unboxing. I'm actually really excited about this unboxing. We haven't done an unboxing in a really long time. And I'm super excited to do this one. Yeah. Because it's finally something different, which is really cool. So I can't wait. We'll get that in a couple weeks. Get that up for you guys. And it's going to be a fully crazy, in-depth unboxing. Lots of pieces and parts, and yeah, we're gonna go really, really crazy on that one. Let me bring this up. First show sponsored and is brought to you by the fine folks at Moscone-America.com. That's right. If you're looking for top notch in your audio needs, search no further. One of the new products that they're really promoting right now because it is out of this world is this guy right here. See, I did it again. Is that awesome?
No.
The new Moscone Pico V2. That's right. The Pico line is filled with all kinds of action and adventure. This is the new 8 to 10.
Wow, even with like sound effects and everything, right?
You guys caught the thunder that just happened when I did that. That's the new Pico 8 to 10, 8 channels of audio, 10 channels of DSP. It's only like this big. It's super awesome. It's pretty cool. It is SB compliant. So that means all you guys with Broncos and stuff like that, or any of the new SB amplifiers that are just a bane to everyone's existence, guess what? The Pico will work inside of that. Pretty excited, right? I am super.
Thank you, David.
So I'm sending it again.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You know, Dean can do a better job, but I mean, that's what we get, man. Sorry about that.
What? Okay. I feel like I just wasn't paying attention to
Correct. No, and that's good.
I wasn't paying attention.
All right. Here we go.
Any direct bolt-on speakers to improve sound in a GMC truck with Bose 2014 to 2018. So technically, isn't everything a bolt-on? I mean, if you're okay, so here's one of those things where it's like, bummer, dude. When you're dealing with something like a pro audio, I'm sorry, we call those labeled audio systems. So it has a name such as Bose or Mark Levinson or Harman Kardon or Alpine or Beats by Dre or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I'm saying. A lot of these systems are very difficult to do a simple speaker swap. I'd like to interrupt this by saying right now it is thundering and lightning and raining and doing crazy stuff. So if we lose power during the show, we'll get back as fast as we can. So the reason why these systems are so hard to interchange is, for one, a lot of the times they have active or they've been EQ'd, crossover, delayed, the whole 9 yards. So Bose or whoever took the time to go through the system and make it sound as bad as it does, the way that makes you unhappy. So therefore, when you decide to replace a speaker with another speaker that doesn't have the similar characteristics to it, one of the common things is like we see it all the time in the Chryslers, where it'll have an Infinity system and they'll go buy some Infinity speakers from Crutchfield. They'll put them in and they'll get like 6x9 2 ways or 3 ways. And they're like, dude, I can't hear the tweeter. And it's like, yeah, because that's actually a subwoofer in that door, not a 3-way 6x9. That's not going to work. And it just sounds tragically bad. And they spent all this money because they didn't know what they were doing. Bose is synonymous with it. Bose since day one has always been one of those things where replacing the speakers and keeping that existing Bose amplifier there has been super difficult to do. Whether it be the ohm load, whether it just be the sound in general. So when it comes to Bose, in certain situations, you can replace the radio in a lot of them. Like you put a new radio in. But when it comes to like replacing just speakers and keeping everything else the same, most of the time it ends in tragic results. It doesn't work. Now, when the truck is 10 years old and we're just trying to get sound in there and they're like, it's a 10-year-old truck, put some $50 speakers in it and everyone just got sound and it's great. Awesome. Like people are happy with that because they don't want to put $3,000 or $4,000 into it to make it sound better. This is one of those situations where you ask the question to improve sound. And the reality of this is no, there really isn't an easy thing to do to make it sound better. Adding a subwoofer, sure. PAC makes the Amp Pro for that specific truck so that you could add like an amplifier. They do make the Amp Pro, so you had Sub Pro, you have Amp Pro. So with the Amp Pro, you can put that in and that'll give you 6 channels of RC output. And from there, you could start replacing components. So because you have to keep the existing Bose amplifier. This goes between the radio and the Bose amp. So you can start replacing components. So you could get like a small amplifier, maybe a 4-channel amp, replace the front speakers, maybe get a DSP or something like that. So you can start to swap out components to get a much better sound. But just something as simple as like, hey, buy these and clip them in. No, that doesn't exist in this world.
Wow, dude, that was a lot.
It was a very lengthy answer, but I feel like there's really no other way to do it. So I'm sorry. Bring me the next one.
Okay.
Evening, guys. Hi, how are you doing?
Good evening, guys.
The factory radio 2018-19 Ford Expedition looks very similar, but both iData and Crutchfield say you can replace the radio on an 18 but not on 19. Why? Because most of the time it would be something like there's a data thing, but reality is it's probably just no one has tested the 19. The plug, it could also be the plug and how it's wired. What you may want to do is actually call iData instead of just using the vehicle locator on there, because a lot of the times they can give you more information, such as the reason why we don't say that is because we haven't validated the car yet. So there's always that as an option. A lot of the times that's what we'll do is like, it's not listed. We'll call them up and be like, why is it not listed? They'll be like, well, technically it should work, but we haven't done it yet. So then we'll explain to the customer it hasn't been done yet, but it says it should. So no excuses. Life must go on. Oh, with the power. I know. I mean, I'll just get my bike out and we'll just very well explain. Thank you, Eduardo.
Here he comes.
Dude, did y'all see that little flat? That was it, man. Power. Ooh. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. But anyways, yeah. So there you go. How's the IRTA sales? You know, Fang, you're the best because he always reminds us like things we've forgotten. And so let me just drop that there, put this back. And no, they're actually going really well. This is the last week, so Sunday will be the last day for your IRTA2, $25 off using coupon code HOT. A bunch of you guys, like best sell we've had so far, you guys, we made it longer than we normally do, so that would explain it. But this is going to be the last week. This is the only sale we're doing this year. It will not be a Christmas sale, like with discounts or anything. This will be the only discount sale that is going to happen on this piece this year. So definitely take advantage of it.
Last week, guys.
Last week. Sunday at midnight, this gets shut off. So, damn.
Grab one.
Grab one now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Do your worst.
I do my worst?
I don't know. Do your best.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I have a Kenwood Double DIN with no screen. To put in a 2005 Mazda 6, what can I use to still have my steering wheel controls, and what radio kit do you recommend?
This is one of those situations where I just over to metroonline.com and type in make, model, year, and just order the parts that they tell you to buy. If they're going to be the only, I mean, that's what we do. We're going to go to metroonline.com, type in, they're going to give us parts, you order them, you're good to go. Yeah, so gets pretty easy on that one. I need thoughts, please, on Zapco, bunch of part numbers, 4A 2020 BO, pardon me, Explorer. So funny you should mention the Zapco stuff. So our good friend, Mr. Chris Bennett, is now working for Zapco. He's the national sales manager. We are actually going to have him here next month. I think like 3 weeks, we're going to have him here to talk about Zapco. We're going to do a special Wednesday show. I'm not familiar with this amplifier, but we're obscenely familiar with the BO Explorer. The reality is, in order to integrate into that BO Explorer, you want to pick yourself up an A to B adapter. You have the new iData A to B adapter that is available to you, as well as you have the PAC A to B adapter that is available to you. One of those two is going to give you 6-channel preamp level output and or Toslink on both, so if you want to go digital. And then it's going to plug into your Zapco product. Outside of that, good timing. Exactly. Way to go. Other than that, yeah, we're going to have Chris on to talk about Zapco. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with the product yet, so.
But he is. So.
He is. If you want to DM Mr. Bennett, go right ahead. He'd be the guy you could talk to about it because he knows way more than we do. But we're going to have him on so we can all learn together. I love doing that, right? Isn't that the best part? We all get to learn together. All right, drop it on me. 30 days of Christmas. Oh, God. No, Bobby. 2024 Escape, non-BO. Need head unit integration and DSP. Got an old JL amplifier and 801. Should I get amps? Okay, so 2024 Escape, non-BO. You're going to need a T-harness. You can get the T-harness from pack-audio.com. They're going to tell you which one you need to buy in order to integrate into that. You're also going to want to pick up yourself some of the audio, depending on the DSP you get. You're going to want to pick up yourself some of the AC LGD greens, which is the 20s. Okay, so those are 20 ohm load resistors. Now, if you buy something like a Moscone, any one of the Moscone amplifiers that has DSP built into it, you won't need to do that because they do have load resistance built into them. So you can integrate into the car. So like we talked about the Pico 8 to 10. We talked about the 1 Series 8 to 10. We talked about the 830, 8 to 10. A lot of 8 to 12 going. Oh, 8 to 12. Yeah, 8 to 12. So any one of those will give you that built in. Helix is another one that has that. Audison will work also in that regards. And then audio control does not. You have to add in the 20 ohm load resistors. So there again, if you're looking for standalone DSP, you can do that as well. You can pick up something like a Arc Audio PSM Pro, which is a 6 to 8, meaning it has 6 input, 8 outputs. You still need your load resistors. But yeah, I personally would get rid of those amplifiers and get new amplifiers with DSP built into it. So, you know, just make life easy.
He's going to be in person.
Chris will be in person. Chris will be here in the install bay, where he's going to be sitting right here between us. Hasn't been there in a long time. Yep, it's been a long time since we've had Chris on the show. So, hold on, let me do this. Hold on.
What's up,
hey, Angel? Question on Zapco email. There you go. Just there you go. That's who you want to take care of that. As far as Angel, hello. If you need help, if you get into the top 12 and you need help with your video, buddy, I know a guy that's really good with that kind of thing. Huh?
He already.
No, he hasn't made it to his top 12. He made his top 50 video.
Oh, top 50.
Yeah. Have you voted for top 12?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know that was already
No, it was just top 50.
Oh, okay.
This is just to get in the top 50. Slow down.
Very nice.
Yeah. No, we all have to vote. So you have to get into the top 50. You have to make your video to make it in the top 50. Then you get to the top 12. And that's when the real competition starts.
Oh.
So we're nowhere near that. You've just been asked to make a video to be considered for top 50.
Very nice.
So we got a long way to go. All right, hold that for a second. I want to do something here. Keep your questions coming. But this next segment is brought to you by the fine folks at Audio Control. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said adjacent earlier. I have a text message that came for me today from our good friend, Mr. Chris Binkley. We call him Phantom Chris for a very long time. And he has the new, what is it called? It's not the replacement. So the high 10 is not going away, but we have the new version of it that is coming out, which is the, it is the Horizon 10. All right. Wow. So I know. So this is the Horizon 10 installation guide. If you go to Stinger Off-Road, or no, it's like StingerOffroad.com, you can download and take a look at that. But what I want to look at is this. So he sent me a bunch of pictures of it working. And this is why this is audio control related, because the new Horizon 10 is filled with a ton of new features. One of those features that we're looking at here is the ability to use the USB connection in the audio control amplifier and plug it, and this only works for audio control because Stinger owns audio control, and plug it directly into the new radio, and you can control the full DSP from the face of your radio. Dangerous as it sounds, yes, you can do it. So what you're seeing here is the audio control software on the face of the new Horizon 10. There are some new features on that, which we'll get to. But here is another picture of the software working on the radio. Here is another picture of the software working on the radio. Here is the audio control app working on the radio. So if all you want to do is change your presets and work your subwoofer volume control, you can easily do that from the face of the radio. Here are some of the new back-end things. So if you're familiar with the high 10, it had 4 camera inputs. It still has 4 camera inputs. Now it has wireless Android Auto, and wireless Apple CarPlay, along with 3 USBs. It has 1 USB-C, which is for CarPlay and Android Auto if you have to wire it to charge, and then 2 regular USBs, one of which is going to be for doing your audio control connection. Fun. You also have 4 programmable outputs. So now you can control 4 things from the touchscreen on the radio. So you have options to do like lighting, garage door opener, up and down, whatever you want to do. You have 4 outputs built into the radio now. And then we're going to move on. And this is the selection screen to control the apps. The nice thing now is if there's an app you don't want, you can turn app displays on and off. So you don't have to have like 50 things on there that aren't doing something. So if you're not using HDMI, or you're not using aux or AV input or something like that, you can turn all these off now, according to him. And so here's there again, the app sheet. So you can minimize these. You can also move them around now. So you can build your top 5, top 10, whatever you want. You can connect it to their in-light 10 system, which allows you to control like rock lights and antennas and interior lighting and all that fun stuff, which is cool. Obviously, like I said, it still has 4 camera inputs. Here is the 13-band EQ that is still built into it. So if you don't have audio control apps, it still has a 13-band EQ. It has a whole new screen. So this has not, the screen is fantastic. It's also higher resolution than the previous high 10. And then this is one of the reasons why I really want to talk about this, is you'll notice there it has yellow, white, purple, green. It says front 1, front 2, rear, and sub. If you've known me, you've known that the one thing I've been asking for years is 8-channel preamp output. Guess what this radio has, guys? 8-channel preamp output. 2 front outputs, a rear output, and a sub output. Or you can make it a 3-way. So you can do tweeter, mid bass, sub. Okay? So 8-channel preamp output. Let me repeat that again. 8-channel preamp output. They are band passable. On certain channels, I don't know which yet. But if we go to the next slide, here is your time alignment adjustment screen for all 8 channels. Oh, yeah. Here is your CarPlay working. Here is the new box, because everybody wants to see the new box. And then if you'll look there at the top, you can see that bandpass channel on the green there. Now, if you have a current high 10, this is a new IP-rated radio. So this one is actually going to have some waterproof characteristics of the display. So when it goes into the Jeeps, it will. But the dash kits are very similar, meaning the exterior size is exactly the same. There is going to be a different plug on the back, so you wouldn't be able to like pull yours out, plug this in. You'd have to pull all of yours out and plug all of this in. But if you've already got the dash kit with some minor modification, you could, they're telling me, I don't know for sure, you could fit this into your current high 10 dash kit to get up to this, well, badass radio. Now, normally we don't talk about retail prices, but you're going to ask me, you could easily go to their website, see. Retail right now is $9.99. They're not doing away with the high 10, because the high 10, of course, is significantly less value than that. 5-Star Car Studio, does the Horizon have HD display? It is a higher res display than, it's like 800 by 12 by 800, 1200 by 800 now, I think is what he said. It's also a new bonded screen, just like you get on like the Alpines and Kenwoods. So very, very nice. I haven't seen it in person yet to see how glorious it looks. I can tell you they've actually 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, they hired a new guy to redesign all of this stuff. And so we're finally getting to see it at the same time you are. It also does have HD radio. The previous one didn't. So a lot of the things that they wanted in the old radio is now in the new Horizon 10. So we just thought we would share that because it does control the DM software from Audio Control. So if you'd like to know more about this, head over to, just type in stingeroffroad.com is where you can find it, and type in Horizon 10 and you can find out all about it. So cool, right? Yay. All right, moving on. Hey, 2019 F-150 BO swapped amp using Zen to 5-channel amp. Yep, D8, yep, D5 1300. Yep, adapter, replace rear door speakers with the focals. I cannot hear anything strong from the tweeter. I need load device. No, you do not need a load device at all from that, because the Zen A to B module is providing that. The only reason you need a load device in an install is to come off with a factory amplifier. You've removed the factory amplifier and plugged in the Zen module. Okay, so now your preamps are coming out of the Zen module. If you cannot hear anything strong from the tweeters, I would probably isolate out those channels and find out what is going on those 2 channels. Meaning, did you accidentally turn on a bandpass crossover? And that's limiting. So is channel 1 and 2 doing some form of a bandpass? Did you accidentally blow the tweeters? Are you going through a passive crossover and maybe you have the passive crossover set to -3, -6? What did it do in the equalization? Is the EQ turned down really low on the tweeter side? So there's a bunch of things you could take a look at by isolating out those channels. It happens. I've done it before too, man. I just had to call Nick Wingate to have him laugh at me because I put a bandpass crossover on a tweeter. So, but those are things I would check. And if all those are right, then maybe you just don't have loud tweeters, which doesn't make sense because most tweeters are loud. So also make sure there's nothing obstructing the front of the tweeter. So, okay. Just bought a single Audio Control Spike 12. I'm torn between sealed or ported. I have never had ported, and I'm worried about SQ. Thoughts? I've never not had ported.
Do you never have a sealed box?
No, because I like bass.
Okay.
So I like bass. I've either had a ported or a bandpass.
Okay.
Sealed is for pussies. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow, that's just like...
No. Here's the thing. you only live once, right? If it sucks, build a new box. But try the ported. Live a little. See what happens, you know? Throw ketchup on a hot dog. Sometimes it's right on. Sometimes it's the most disgusting thing ever. But hey, you know, give it a try. What do you got to lose? It sounds like crap? Well, start over. Build a new one. Rip the port out. Whack it in half. Make it smaller. There you go.
On the F-150 with the Sony system, with the Sony Orbeo system, do you still run in power and ground cables down to the driver's side?
No, because the Sony system should be a steel-framed vehicle. So the only ones you have to do power and ground is on the aluminum vehicle. So if you could take a magnet and stick it to the side of your truck, life is good. Look at that. Yeah, boom. Gave me the thumbs up. How cool. So, yeah, no, that's it. So anytime you have an aluminum Ford F-150, it is best practices to run on power and ground. If you have a steel F-150, it's best practice to use one of the factory ground points in the back, and everything is wonderful. Hey, guys, is it okay to use carpeted wood as an amp rack or ABS plastic better? Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so for years, I would use carpeted boards for amp racks because we had a full wood shop and we had spray glue. I had 8 rolls of carpet above my head, and it was fantastic to do installations using that. And what I would do is I would use these zip ties here that have the little hole in them, okay? And so like every 4 zip ties, I would use one of these and screw it down to the wood amp rack. Looks wonderful, does what it needs to do. The reason why we switched to plastic was, for one, we don't have glue here anymore. Thank God, because it would just give me a headache, and it's sticky, and it's disgusting, and I just get, ah! So, and we switched to plastic because they're, again, trying to go for more of that factory look. A lot of the car manufacturers now put their products underneath the seat and either use some form of aluminum tray or metal tray or a piece of plastic or a plastic cover or something like that. So it opened up a bunch of different mounting options for us using the plastic as opposed to wood. You know, because like if you're building an amp rack under the seat and you have, let's say, 1/2 inch or 5/8 or 3/4, it kind of builds up high, and then you add carpet onto it. You get like a 1-inch thick amp rack, and if you need your amp to sit lower so it doesn't hit the seat, then, you know, it kind of, if you're putting it in the back corner of a car, though, carpet actually looks really good because it fills in some of the gaps because it's carpet. So, you know, that's probably the only time I miss not doing carpet is because I like it to look more like factory flushed in there. So that's why we don't do a lot of those, just because the look is kind of But yeah, test equipment is on the way. Thank you, Marty. For those who are curious, that is the new recoil multi-tester. So be excited just to see what it can do, have some fun with it. Realize that it is a inexpensive inexpensive. I say inexpensive, but it's not a super expensive test tool that can do a lot of things. It's portable. You can take it around and do a ton of stuff. So hopefully it'll work fantastic. It is aluminum. I was wondering if you still do the driver's side, even though the speaker wires run front to back on that side because of the factory amp with the Sony BO system, or do you run power ground down the passenger side to stay away from the speaker lines? Okay, you don't have to worry about the speaker lines. They'll never radiate any noise over, and you have nothing to worry about. We always go down the driver's side because it's 100% a way easier way to do it than trying to go up the passenger side. You will not get radiated noise. You'll be fine. Everything will be great. But yeah, that's what we do. Dean, can you talk about linkable terminal box? Probably that's a good option for amp. So it's funny. He's being funny. So Eduardo has these new barrier strips that he got. He was over here last week and he found these new barrier strips, which he's, of course, I don't have. He bought a bunch of them, and you can build your own barrier strip. So it starts with 1, and then you can go 1, 2. If you need 10, you can go all the way out to 10. Comes with an end plate so you can screw them down. It's really neat. But as far as buildable fuse box in our world, you have the Stinger X series, which we had in Fernando's car when we did the thing in the back, and then also Audison makes a micro aircraft little guy that you can link together a bunch of them. But yeah, that's all I got. Hey guys, how you doing? Just discovered that the output voltage on my new head unit exceeds the low level input voltage on my amp. Is that a bad thing? What do I need to do? So have you actually physically measured this with a digital multimeter, like playing like a test tone or anything like that? Because I would be curious to see if it is. So is it bad? I mean, it's going to clip the input of the amplifier for sure. I've never really ran into this problem though before, because most of the time, most radios that have a 4 or 5 volt output, you really only get 4 or 5 volts at maximum volume. So you can easily play a test tone with your voltmeter on AC on the outputs of the radio, RCAs, turn the volume up, and see where it reaches its maximum amount of voltage that correlates to the input voltage of your amplifier. Make sure you have the input of the amplifier all the way down, and then just know that you can only go up somewhere between, let's say, 34 and 38, because it is going to vary depending on the type of music you're listening to, because your music is not going to always put out the same voltage, because if it's an older soundtrack that wasn't recorded very well, not a lot of compression, you're going to need to turn it up. If it's a newer song that has a ton of that, you're going to need to turn it down. So never really that's what I'm saying, you don't really run into this problem all that often. So can you please
make a video about change the region for a single DIN radios? I can change it. It's a Kenwood Exelon KDC X303 region.
Huh. I think we made one of those years ago on one of the videos with the 1 or 10, one of the 1 second or 1 minute 1 minute videos we did like years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. Because the process hasn't changed.
Yeah. Now some of these radios do not have.
Well, so the Kenwoods typically will have region code change.
All of them?
Yeah. Most of them.
I was going to say.
I don't know. I haven't done it in years. That's literally a question I just asked Josh, and he goes, hold these 2 buttons, because it's in Kenwood University. Mm-hmm. Like if you go to the Kenwood University on their website, it's there.
There you go.
So, did you get a chance to check out the Down for Sound DSP? Dean, that is a wonderful question, and the answer to that is no. And the reason for that is because I didn't do shit yesterday other than run around for my dad, which seems like a noble thing, but it really wasn't. Hold on. I'm going to send myself a text message right now.
You want to sell yourself a text message?
Yeah, I do it all the time. You don't do that all the time?
No.
Oh, that's dumb.
Really?
Yeah. Do it all the time. Yeah. See? Boom.
Okay.
Do it from my laptop to myself constantly. It's a good way to like share photos and stuff. You know, if you don't have AirDrop working, I just text them to myself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'll check out and let you know. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
When we know it exists, Eduardo, it always exists. Okay. I'm installing a 3-way set of Milli Pros in a Tundra. Congratulations. I have a 5-channel amp and a smaller 4-channel. Okay. Okay to run the mid-bass and the mid-range on the 5-channel and the tweeters on the 4-channel. Yeah. Why would you not? So depending on the power output for that, what I might do is, because you don't need a lot of, you don't need tons of power for the mid-range. They're small speakers. They don't need, so if the 4-channel, which usually is a smaller amount of power, I'm typically putting my two smaller amounts on my mid-range and tweeter, and then I'm either bridging to get the most amount of power to my mid-bass, or I might run channel 1 and 2 of the 4-channel of the tweeters, and then use the 5-channel to power that, and then the other 2 channels to the rears. I would try not to have a set of open channels on any of the amplifiers. So, like, if you can not do that, that would be great. I mean, you can just make sure you don't put any input into it. But depending on the amplifier and the quality of the amplifier, some of these amplifiers don't like having open unused channels. So, might better off like bridge the 5-channel amp to the mid bass if that's a doable option. I would definitely not bridge the 4-channel to the tweeters. That would be terrible because a lot of these amplifiers don't do so hot. It changes the quality of the amplifier when you do that. But yeah. What's up, Marty Adams Check? Hey, this next segment is brought to you by the fine folks at Arc Audio. Hopefully you guys have been watching these shows for long enough. You know we do the DSP quick tips. Last weekend we did a fantastic DSP quick tip with Arc Audio using the AB selector that's built into the tools. So definitely want to check that out if you haven't had the opportunity to do that. Gives you the ability to listen to 2 separate EQ settings with your eyes closed and no fingers on the keyboard. You just sit back like this. You can tell how long you want it to play each one. It's a fantastic feature, along with all the other features that are built into these. Everyone always asks, hey, what's a small DSP? Well, the PSM Pro, it doesn't get any smaller than that. It's literally like the size of a deck of cards. And it is a 6-to-8, meaning it's got 6 inputs and 8 outputs. It's USB-C controlled, and it has full DNA software. So all the stuff that we show you, you have access to. It's probably one of the cheapest, smallest, fastest, coolest DSPs that you can find. You can find that at arcaudio.com. Next question. Good morning from Australia. Question. Who is best to use to design a B-pillar 4x15 6-order box? What's the name of that software? You know, here's the thing. I don't really do box design anymore. What's his name software that comes with his wife? TermLab Pro. Yeah. If you want to pay for it, TermLab Pro is going to be your best, but you got to pay for it. Outside of that, just use, there you go, B-Box Pro. Yeah, there's a couple free ones. Yeah, click on that one. Winamp. Yep. So WinISD. Look at you guys. There you go. See? You guys are the best. So there you go. There's some free ones that'll get you through. And again, just because it's free doesn't mean it sucks. Just means it's free and you didn't have to pay for it. So that's fantastic. The other thing too is that I do recommend anytime you design a box, if you really don't know what you're doing, most subwoofer manufacturers will allow you to call them and ask questions because they don't want you to blow their subwoofers. We know a lot of companies that's literally what they do all day is sit and answer questions on how to build a box. So if you're lost, scared, and confused, by all means, give them a call and talk to them because they want you to have the best experience. Now, some people just suck. It's just what it is. But most manufacturers want you to have the most enjoyable experience with their product. So don't be afraid to call them. What would be the easiest way to integrate into a 2019 Volkswagen VW Atlas keeping stock head unit? Want to replace everything else? I would check out iData. I think they make a interface for that vehicle via either the DSR1 AR using a PSM Pro or a Blackbird. But definitely go to idatalink.com and check out what options are available for you there. If they have nothing, Metro might have like a DSP basic that you could put in. Hey guys.
Hey.
Help. 2000 Toyota Camry front speakers get sound, but the rears will not. I noticed factory connector has 5 wires, but all the aftermarket connectors only have 4. Correct. And no sound at all. Any suggestions? All right, so I'm guessing you're going high level. The first question I'd say is make sure you use load resistors. The audio control LCD LGD 20s or greens, you have to put on the outputs of that radio in order to load it down, because if you don't load it down properly, yes, it could be shutting off the outputs from the factory radio, so you get no sound out of those channels. You're correct to say that some of them have 5 out, or the plug is for 10 wires and all the plugs have 8 wires. That's fine. That has nothing to do with the rear wire. All Toyota plugs are the same. Those 2 extra wires are not for your car. You have nothing to worry about there. This is where a voltmeter would come in very handy, because you could fade it to rear driver or rear passenger and play a test tone track. It doesn't have to be turned all the way up. Put your voltmeter in and see if the number raises and decreases as you turn up and down the volume. That'll let you know if there's signal coming out of that channel. Let me repeat that, because you might not have gotten what I said. Take your digital multimeter, put it to AC, put it in either the green or purple outputs. Positive, positive, negative, negative. Fade it to that speaker output. So if it's the green, it's going to be the passenger rear. If it's the purple, if it's the green, it's going to be driver's rear. If it's purple, it's going to be the passenger rear. Play a test tone, like 1,000 hertz, 40 hertz, 50 hertz, just so it's in the operating range of that driver. So 1,000 hertz is a good pick there. Turn the volume up, looking at the digital multimeter. If the number on the voltmeter goes up and down, that means that output is properly working. If it doesn't move at all, that means the output of that is not working. Now, it is a Toyota radio. There's a 100% chance that the radio could be bad, because it happens. Now, the other thing, too, is you do need a load resistor on it. And if you don't have one, the radio could just be in a protection mode. The easiest way to test that, just to make sure, is to plug a speaker back into that output, which you can do right there behind the radio. That'll put a 4 ohm load back onto that channel and allow you to then test it again. Make sure the car is off and you can turn it back on. You may have to let the car go to sleep and let it set for 15 minutes just to make sure. Most of the time it will come just right back on, but hey, stranger things have happened. Each car has got a little annoying thing. It is a 2000, so that's pretty fun. That's old. Yeah. So you know what? I was thinking 2020. Okay, forget the load resistors. You don't need load resistors.
Wow.
Stick with everything else I said, though, and that'll allow you to test that. It's that little plug on the back. So, yeah. Okay. Dean, you spoke of factory system earlier. Thoughts on the Polestar 3 with the 25 speaker Bowers and Wilkins, 1,610 watts. I mean, car costs $85,000 a set. Listen, an F-150 comes with the Unleash system that has umpteen zillion speakers. The new Tahoes or Cadillac Escalade Denali's come with the giant system in them with 25, 24 speakers.
Remember when the Grand Wagoneer came out?
Yeah,
they have the Macintosh.
Yeah, that's the one system. Brian just got done ripping out all the stuff in that. The reality is this: regardless of how many millions of speakers or watts or anything like that it has, if you sit in the car and it does what you're hoping it to do, then you leave it alone. And then there's nothing to do there. If you sit in the car and it's got all these things and you go, this sucks, that's when you take it out and change it. So it's just what it is. I mean, there's plenty of people that buy vehicles sitting there and go, this is freaking the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Those people typically have sound bars. They don't know what a good thing is when it bit them in the ass anyway. So
remember the Porsche that we did. He bought the car brand new and he's like, oh my God, this sounds horrible. Yeah. And that was the premium sound system that came in that. And it's like, no, man, let's take it out.
But there again, with the rack system.
Yeah.
But I heard the Porsche the other day, and it sounded fantastic. So, I mean.
Which Porsche?
Not that one. This was another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had the Burmeister system in it. Yeah. It had no bass, but, I mean, otherwise it sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
But, everyone's a little different. So, if that 25 speaker stereo does it for you, great. I don't understand why. So, here's the other thing. Yes, the BO system does sound like poo. Here's the other thing you have to keep in mind. The reason why these manufacturers are doing 25 speakers in a car is what the question you should be asking yourself. Because think about it. If you have a home stereo in your living room,
you don't have 25.
You don't have 25 speakers in it. You got a bigger ass living room than you do your car. what you may have it full maxed out with, 7.1 or 9.1 or 9.1.2.4, whatever. Even that doesn't make any sense. So the reason why car manufacturers are doing this is so that you can have zone listening, so that each person in their seat will have their own audio experience. So the guy sitting in the back behind you has his own little bubble. If he has a headrest or monitor or something like that, then, he can listen to his little video, or, little Johnny in the back seat can be like, oh, play me this stupid song about fish, and it can
Dory?
be, I don't know, it's whatever, but, play some Danny Go because he rocks. Anyways, so they can have their own little experience. So that's why they're putting all these speakers in there. So to lose those speakers and make the driver have the best experience, which to me makes the most sense because it's my car and I want it to sound good for me. That's what we're talking about. So yeah,
for sure.
That
was cool.
It was something. Any issues with mounting DSR1s behind the radio other than access for needing to do a firmware update? No.
That's it.
But I mean, we've put them in some very peculiar places over the years.
So what you can do is actually find a USB plug so you can plug it in.
No, you
access
can't.
to it.
No, you can't. You got to disconnect power to flash it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
matter. Huh?
Yeah, it does matter. It doesn't matter. And to be honest with you, never taking one out to update it. So if it's the only time you would ever take it out to update it is if it fails, meaning you put it in a car and the car started doing strange things and you got to call them up and be like, hey, this is doing some strange things. And they go, oh, okay, cool. And then they issue a software update and then they fixes it and then you put it back together and you never see it again either. So it's not like there's incremental updates that you're going to do to make it have new features or be better. So the likelihood of you needing to take it apart and flash it are very, very, very small. So if you have a good place to mount it up in a dash somewhere, go for it. Yeah, why not? We do it all the time. Yes, you did miss it, Mr. Brinkley. You should go back and watch it. It was fantastic. I just basically screen shared all your pictures. If one integrated, where are we at? Okay, if one integrated with the DSR1, but at a later time wanted to add a standalone DSP to the system, could one just set the DSR1 to flat and tune with a standalone DSP? Second, Dean's opinion needed PNW 6x9s or Morel 69 Maximos, or 6.5 Maximos. Or why not just do the what is it? What's the next step up that has the 6x9s? All right, guys, unless we're just going for price. No, next step down. The 6x9s. It's only available in one. It's the set we have out there. We're going to put in your car. I mean, run out there and look. Jesus, it's right there. Okay, so to answer the first question, yes, you can reprogram the DSR1, putting everything back to flat, and use it as a tempo. Thank you. You can turn the DSR1 all the way off, turn it down to flat.
Thank you.
So all you need at that point, he's literally yelling at you. The only thing you have to do on the DSR1 is set up your preamp output. So if right now you're using 6-channel preamp output, set it up for front, rear, and sub output. If you're using 8-channel output where it's like tweeter, mid, rear, sub, reflash it or reprogram it for front, rear, and sub out. You can still use the punch bass, which is really good. If you're using the subwoofer level control, you can still use your subwoofer level control to control it. It's just becoming a box with no DSP. Now, if you decide to do that, which is cool, I have no problem with it. We do it. We've done it. We do it. We've done it. We use it that way. There might be a better option for you, okay? And that's this piece right here that we just talked about. And why I said that is because unless you need more channels than 8. Because the PSM Pro from Arc Audio will give you the full Arc Audio DNA software, okay? It will also give you the ability, if you buy the iData AR, like if you're using this as an AR, if you're using DSR1 as an AR interface, you can buy an AR, because that's what's built into the DSR1, unplug your DSR1 and plug in between the AR, and it's all the same plugs. It's literally all the same plugs, so you don't have to do nothing, okay? And you have a full DSP. You can also use any one of the Arc Audio DSPs via AR as well. So if you decided to use the get rid of the DSR1, you could plug in any one of the Arc Audio DSPs into that with the AR and keep all your controllability that way. So it makes it super cool, Scott. And as far as the 6x9s go, the PNW 6x9 is definitely going to give you more mid-bass than the Maximo, hands down. It's going to do it. It's bigger baggage, bigger motor structure. If you're looking for a 6x9, that would be the Tempo Ultras. That would be a more fair comparison as far as 6x9 to 6x9. Tempo Ultra, of course, is going to be a more expensive driver, but yeah, cost-wise, you're still going to get more out of that 6x9 than you're out of that 6.5. So,
20 minutes to go, guys.
Okay. So, hold on. Let me get rid of this.
Yeah.
Let me turn that off. Pull up the next one.
Mm-hmm. You can read that.
Is it right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, do we have the right amount of time on that? I think so. Damn. Hey guys, this next segment, the last segment of the show, is brought to, you know what? I think this is too soon. I think it is. I think we need to put that back, put the arc back up for a minute. I think we got 5 more minutes on arc. Right. Okay. So let's just, there you go. Drop that. Just click on it. There you go. Yeah, we'll come back to that. All right. If the tweeter source is in the head
unit.
Yeah. Do I have to run new tweeter wires with a crossover? Do I need LGD load device for front when I do? And can you recommend a good tweeter or front door? What are we talking about?
If the tweeter source is in the head unit, do I have to run?
No, I get that. I just need to know what radio it is, because I mean, if we're just talking about a radio that has tweeters coming out, so like the BO system from Ford, the tweeters come out of the radio because that's the BO system, but the regular Ford doesn't. But if you have a regular Ford radio, and I'm only using Ford as an example, and you have mid-range and tweeter, well, yeah, naturally the tweeters, but the mid-range is also, so the components are going to get powered off the radio. Mm-hmm. It just depends what you're doing. If we're putting an amplifier in, of course you need some kind of load resistor. If I'm just putting a tweeter, if I'm pulling out a tweeter and putting in a tweeter, then no, I just need to follow the way the factory puts it in. The factory will have a cap on the tweeter. I need to put a cap on the tweeter. So if it's an amplified system, it may be a tweeter and a mid-range. So you have to understand the system that you're integrating into, which of course I don't know which one you're integrating into, but you're basically just copying what they're doing from the factory if you're trying to update the factory. Now, if you're going all external, then you have different rules you have to play by. Okay, Tom says, BO 2019 Lariat cannot hear the tweeters. So yes, you'll have to run wires to the tweeters. Yes, because the 2019, the tweeters are powered off of the radio, and depending on how you interface it, so like if you use an Amp Pro comes with a wiring harness that you go behind the radio and you grab your tweeter wires and you run amplifier wires up to those wires, then out to the tweeters. If you didn't do that, then yes, you're going to have to run new wires from the back up to your new tweeters. So that could be your problem for sure. In the tweeters, I cannot hear. So if you just plugged them into the factory, you're not getting any sound to them. So they're not connected to your amplifier. They're connected to the factory radio. So the easiest thing to do would just be come out of whatever crossovers you have in the back or however you're planning on running them and connect them up. But yes, you'd have to put capacitors on them and whatnot.
All right. So help. I'm trying to install my first aftermarket head unit on my car. I bought a Pioneer ABH 201EX, and I connect the black with the black, the red with the red, the yellow with the yellow. The radio turns on, but Bluetooth or aux option doesn't turn on. I still have a lot of different color wires left.
Yeah, you do, but okay, so all right, so basic radio connection isn't really going to stop aux or Bluetooth from working.
Parking brake wire?
Well, even the parking brake wire, you know, the light green wire is the parking brake wire, needs to be engaged in order to pair your Bluetooth to the radio. So like that requires a parking brake connection, and that connection goes on parking brake, off parking brake, on parking brake. You can buy something like a micro bypass to negate that, by following the wires. The other wires that are on there, such as the whites, the grays, the greens, and the purples, are all their speaker wires. You have the blue wire, and it may have a blue and a blue white. I think it just has a blue white. That is your amplifier turn on, or your amplified antenna turn on, which most vehicles have now. You may have a brown that doesn't go to anything, but the only weird thing you could be running into is if it's not allowing you to get in to access those because you haven't connected the emergency brake wire. Mm-hmm. And those would only be needed for pair up. Once you've paired up, then it should just easily go into those. Now, the other thing that you have to keep in mind when connecting these, especially if you're trying to make phone calls, the audio for the phone call happens through the white and gray speaker wires. So those have to be connected to something in order to hear phone calls. Either that or the front RC outputs on the radio has to be connected to something in order to hear phone calls. So that's really all I got.
So yeah, you have to connect all the wires, match the wires.
So as far as what do you have to share about the Arc Audio amp 6,000 or 1,000.6 DSPs? So this is the cool thing about Arc Audio. We can only sell 3 of their products. Doesn't mean I shouldn't know all of them, but right now the products that they have us working on are the Blackbirds, the Nightwing or Nighthawk, and the PSM Pro. So I'm not extremely familiar with the 600 or 1006, other than it's got a lot of power and you can still use the DNA software. All of the processors will use the same DNA software. So anything that we talk about as far as the DSP side of things go will all work on that amplifier.
All right, now you can change it.
Now I can change it. Boom. All right, there you go. Hey, this next section is brought to you by the fine folks at ThinkwareStore.com. And I just so happen to have ThinkwareStore.com up and loaded to go. Really? Boom. Yeah, see, isn't that fun?
No, it's not.
Anyways, so shut that off for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
If you head over to their webpage, you have the ability to test drive each one of their products. Of course, for all of us, we're just going to go for the big dog U3000 and just get Mac Daddy. No, we're not. We're not all going to do that. But you can definitely choose through one of their 4 or 5 dash cams. They have the basic compact size, the F70 Pro, which you can take from car to car. It makes it really easy if you do a lot of rental cars and stuff like that. Outside of that, everything comes with front and rear. And something that is fun to look at that I always like doing is anytime someone says you can accessorize, let's head over to the accessorize page. In this, you can find out about their exterior side camera packs and the modules over here to do it, these multiplexer bundles. Mm-hmm. They also have an infrared front camera. So if you do a lot of nighttime driving, you can put that on the front of your vehicle and kind of see what the heck is going on, which is kind of cool. Right?
360,
Anyways, pull that back up.
I'm coming. Hang on.
I'm hanging. Head over to ThinkwareStore.com for more on those cool products. And then, of course, post all your awesome videos. Yes. Hold on, let me get this. Be glad when y'all jump back with daylight savings. Arizona doesn't move, and I'd be able to not be at work and catch the shows. Yeah. You're the only one. Yeah. You're the only one. I hate this. What's coming? Can't stand it.
What's coming?
When it gets dark at 5 o'clock here.
I don't like it.
It's so bad.
I don't like it.
It sucks. Yeah. Okay, next question. Hello.
Hello.
What would you use to integrate into a 2024 Honda CR-V EXL non-amp, no center, channel, 8-speaker system? What would you use, Dean and Fernando? I would get the T-harness. Pack-audio.com probably has the T-harness. There again, it's going to be a conversation I'm going to have with the owner of the vehicle to find out what he's going for. This, with the size of the vehicle, meaning I don't have a lot of room, I'm probably going to go with a Blackbird because that gives me 8 channels of audio with 12 channels of DSP. Depending on how I handle the subwoofer, I may go amplified, something like a P300, maybe a downfiring 12 from Kicker. Just kind of depends on what type of space. The downfiring from kicker is back in stock. So like that's really nice alternative for something like this because I have 8 channels of DSP. Now, depending on how many channels I need, so if I only need 6 channels of DSP/amplifier, so I'm only doing tweeter, mid, and rear, then I'm going to bridge the Blackbird 5 channels 7 and 8 off to a downfiring or single subwoofer, depending on what we're going for. A lot of the times in the SUVs, the downfiring sub is the better way to go just because it's a CRV, so everybody wants to stack crap in there. If you want to go underneath it, then we'd take a look at that, possibly go with like the Diamond Audio 11-inch spare tire sub. See how that works out. More than likely to just be like a downfiring 210 or 110, 112 from kicker because we just do a ton of those. So, okay, so head units is the Kenwood 705 5-volt owner's manual for the amp, which is a Rockford 750.5, says 4-volt low-level input, reset gain with proper tones, can barely turn up gain, lost a lot of volume and impact. I have never ran into this problem with these amplifiers. Yeah, never at all.
I mean, at that point, it's like you should not be able to.
So try this. Yeah. Try this for. Better way to set this gain is instead of using test tones, which you're never going to listen to in a million years. Okay, play your music. So find your most dynamic track that you have and turn the volume up to what you feel is a comfortable level on the volume control. It's a Kenwood. It's not going to clip, but some people don't like to go all the way up. Some people like to have a little bit of headroom at the end. Whatever turns you on. If you want to go 3/4 volume, that's fine. Play that test track. Go back to your gain control. It has a little blinky blue light. Purple is good. Red is bad. Start turning that gain up as the music is playing until it starts to go red, and then turn it down here so that it stays purple. Okay, there you go. Now you've set the gain. You've set it to the music that you listen to instead of the tones that you're never going to listen to. Now play a half dozen other tracks and kind of get a feel for what the volume is supposed to be like, and more than likely you're going to be good. The other thing to keep in mind too is if you turn up punch bass at all, punch bass is going to affect the way the gain gets set. So if you've turned up punch bass on the front and rear channels, well, then that's going to limit the amount of gain you can have. I strongly recommend turning those down and only using it on the sub channel. The Kenwood will clip past 3 on the subwoofer level control. That's okay. You can just keep the volume down after that. But there's never been a situation where we can't get gain out of a Rockford amp, that scenario right there. We've done it many times. But try setting the gain that way and see where that gets you. You should be able to get an amazing amount of sound out of this very easily. Okay, 2019 Ram Rebel having issues with volume spiking between some songs or switching from phone to radio. I'm running 4 6x9 Fosgate power speakers and a kicker 360 amp have DSR1 connected. That sounds crazy. That's weird. I'm having issues with volume spiking between songs or switching from phone to radio. That doesn't make any sense. Do you have volume leveling or anything like that turned on in the phone? Like if it's an iPhone and you have volume leveling turned on, turn that shit off because that'll screw things up. If it's an Android phone, I got nothing there. Right. I think what you really need to do is like figure out is it like what start to be a little bit more analytical about what is causing and what it's doing. Meaning, is it when I'm going from here to here only? Is it if I'm listening to this song and not that song? You need more finite data. Have you tried turning the gains down on the amplifier? Because none of this makes any sense. It's not saying that it isn't happened. We've just never seen it before. It's kind of odd. So
have a DSR1 connect.
Yeah, no, it should work fine. I mean, it's a DSR1. The only other thing is make sure the DSR1 is flashed properly. But if you're getting audio out of it, my guess is you are, because there's no other. It wouldn't work if you weren't. So yeah, it's not it. Okay. Last integration question on this vehicle. Hopefully, 2007 Sienna with Bose, 17 with Bose. What's the difference in Amp Pro versus AX DSP? Obviously, the AX has built-in DSP, but is one better than the other? In this particular vehicle, the only thing we have ever used is an Amp Pro. That is not to say the Access DSP wouldn't work. I don't know how it integrates into the vehicle. Sometimes they do things a little differently than everybody else, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a thing. If you're going to go with an external DSP, I would just stick with the Amp Pro. If you're not going to go with an external DSP, then I would probably go Access DSP. There are certain cars that we use the Access DSP on. This is not one of them, you know. So, with the ThinkWare cameras, do they display images through the head unit or just your phone, or is it a screen? Depending on the unit you go with, it is just a screen. It does not pair up to a head unit.
Yes, no, it doesn't pair to the head unit. It's actually the app. They have an app, so you can download the app and you'll be able to control all that stuff.
Of course, it's got an SD card. You can take
correct. You can take it out, put it in you.
It is not made to pair into anybody's radio.
Remember, this is just a safety feature. This is not for you to be able to driving and watching it on the screen. It's like.
No, but I get what he's saying. You got a night vision camera. You want to be able to see that at night.
It's a night vision.
Yeah, I know, but I want to see it.
You have a windshield. What do you want to
You're so
go
mental.
see it in
You're
a small
so
one?
Bad.
I mean,
so bad. So late.
I know.
So late. Hello. Oh. Got it. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to start over because Ada just got here.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
Rewind. I have been in the industry on many levels for many years. Hands down, Dean and Fernando are two of the best things to advance it, especially professionally. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, thank you for watching, man.
Fantastic. Rockford Fosgate is confused by this too. Yes, because it makes no sense. But seriously, that's how I set up every single Rockford Fosgate amp that has ever come through here. That is exactly what I do. I play few of my dynamic songs that I have. We just did one today. We had a Colorado in and we put a support box in. I said to Fernando, I hop in the front seat. I played Anyway, boom, and it just Lizzo, and kept working the knob. Got it where I wanted it. Happy with the bass. Done. Tap out. Get out of here, buddy.
Yeah.
So that's literally how we deal with that. So try that and see if that does for you. Make sure the RAM you have, the ANC harness on the driver's seat, is disconnected. I've had the Uconnect interfere with the customer, had it paired, and the ANC not bypassed. Melissa, thank you for. There you go.
Nice.
She owns a shop. She knows what she's talking about. Yeah. No, that is fantastic, Melissa. So if you're using any of the factory speakers, like if you did an Amp Pro and you're using any of the factory speakers, that would cause the problem. Pack, unfortunately, when you buy the Amp Pro, does not give you the ANC bypass in the box. You do have to buy that separate, which sucks. And yes, if they're still connected, or if you are still connected to the factory Uconnect system, make sure you unpair from that.
Very nice.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you still have the factory radio, you'd be using Uconnect. But yeah, so keep that in there. Maybe just try bypassing the ANC if you haven't done that. Okay, so give it a go. Worst comes to worst, time for a new radio.
Yes, exactly.
Fernando just drives with night vision goggles.
I try.
No, he can just see in the dark, bro. You can just see in the dark.
Batman.
Does anyone have any feedback on the Helix Pro MK3 BT HD card? How much improvement does it add high res? You know what? That would be a question you'd want to ask Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get a hold of him for you on that one. I'll have to find out what his email address is with Helix, because that's who he works for now. So he's everything there is to know about Helix is Jeff's thing. We'll get him on here in some point in time to get us to update us on the Helix stuff, because they have come out with new stuff that.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that. Be nice, Fernando.
I'm always nice.
Yeah. Okay. What's up? Thank you. Okay, so where are we at? A&L fuse holder or circuit breaker under the hood. A&L fuse holder, 100%. Cars do not have circuit breakers. Nowhere in a car is there a circuit breaker. They always have fuse holders. You know why? Because when the fuse blows, the car doesn't burn to the ground. So no on circuit breakers, ever. If you have a boat, put a circuit breaker in your boat. Because nothing sucks worse than getting stranded out in the middle of the ocean and you blew a fuse, and you're like, "Oh, this sucks." Trip. Hey, motor starts up. I drive away. But no, always use a fuse holder. I don't care. You can do whatever you like, but I will always be using a fuse holder because that's the best. Huge fan. Any updates on the Odyssey Accordia, Auto Tune, DSP, Forza amps?
Accordo.
Yeah. Yes. I talked about this. I've been using it. We've been having fun with it. We've got it all worked out. We've done it on a couple cars. Ken has been using it. They've come out with one update so far. I don't know if there's another one coming up, but we decided instead of rushing into it, we're going to give it a minute and then we'll get Ken on. So more than likely what you'll see is sometime next month, we'll have Ken on because there's been plenty of time. Because like anything new like that, like we had microphone issues where we couldn't get the mic to work, and then we had to try a different mic. So they're working their way through all of that. And if we're going to bring you guys into the table, we want to make sure that there's no problems that you guys are just going to be like, about. So we're just working our way through that. And then, so by next month, most of that stuff will all be figured out. Like we've used it, like I said, we've been using it successfully with no issue. So we'll just wait. We'll get him on. Plus, he's been traveling. So stay tuned. It's coming for sure. We're not going to do it for sure. But yeah.
That's it.
Is that sure?
It's time, bro.
You'd have to turn that off.
All right.
All right, hold on. You're welcome. Wire, check ANC as suggested. Perfect. There you go. So let me hide this. Here's how this is gonna go. First off, I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank all of you. Big thanks to all of you for tuning in, keeping the show going. Without you, the show wouldn't exist. You guys asked great questions tonight. Apparently, integration, as always, is a big topic. We are going to be out of town because it's like the big weekend coming up. So most of you guys are going to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Twins Day off. We too are going to be out of office on Saturday and Monday, so we're super excited about that. We got things to do, so that'll be great. We will be here Friday to go. Yeah, we will be here Friday to go over the news. So that'll be the last show we do until we get back. There'll be no Monday show. There'll be no Saturday show. I know. We're trying to think of something to do for that day. I can't promise hot. IRTA 2. Yes, this is the last week. Sunday at midnight, I'm shutting that off. So if you guys haven't taken advantage of it, it's the only sale we're doing this year. So make sure you take advantage of that. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to our people that keep the show going as far as financially. So sponsors, we have Kenwood over in 12 Oakland Wire Club. As always, we have Arc Audio, Audio Control, Focal, Moscone Gladen, and ThinkWare-Cams. Yeah, I got everybody. Fantastic. That's what we got happening here, guys. We look forward to all of this. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we go live. We can answer your questions during the week there. It was a
Friday
would be the news. Yep. 9 o'clock be the news. Yeah. So if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, we talked about the new Stinger radio that just came out with 8-channel preamp. I suggest going back and listening to that because that was really cool.
The Horizon?
Yeah, Horizon 10.
Wow.
It was so awesome. We'll be talking about that more on the news, I'm sure. But that's what we got, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and giving us your time. I got nothing else. You? You good? Yep. All right. You guys have a wonderful week. And if we don't get to see you between now and next week, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. It's the stupid time. Like, you give people time off and while they do dumb stuff. Thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you.
But yeah, you guys have a great day. I got nothing else.
Bye, guys.